Hey everyone, so I've been getting a lot of requests lately to do a top 10 rarest Digi-Battle card game video. So that's what I'm going to do today. And it's going to overlap one of my other videos a little bit. I'll try and shorten this one, but this is going to just cover the top 10 rarest cards. So disclaimer, this is going to just be English cards, so it's not going to cover French Series 3. And also another disclaimer is there are no print runs no print run numbers in front of me. I don't know how many Bandai produced of this stuff. This is just from my experience. Because as everybody else was collecting Pokemon growing up, I was collecting Digimon growing up. And I kind of know what I'm talking about. I mean, you can see my website, prodigiscollecting.com, or you can check me out on Instagram, prodigisomnimon, and you can either disagree with my list or ask questions or whatever you want. But so this is just kind of what I've seen over the past 20 years. So let's get started, shall we? So first of all, I'm going to move this stack out of the way so it's more suspenseful. You won't be able to see what's coming. But first of all, with the number 10 position, I'm going to go with the Swedish Digimon cards. Now, these cards were only from Swedish Happy Meals. And years ago, they were almost mythical. Like, no one knew how to get them. We knew they were from Sweden, but we didn't know, like, they were from McDonald's Happy Meals. Until some people did some research, like one of my friends, Martin, who lives in Sweden, and found out that they came in 5 card packs distributed with McDonald's Happy Meals. Now, these cards are pretty hard to get. Right now, there's a couple of sellers you can find these from. Excuse me. So they're like $60 to $70, but there were years where you just could not find any of them. And so overall, I'm going to put them at the number 10 spot. You can find them, but to find the specific cards you're looking for, except for right now, but most times it's pretty hard to do. So I'm going to put them at 10. And that brings us to the number 9 slot. I'm going to go with Series 4 holographic cards. So this is Booster Pack Series 4. Now, gold text cards were harder to get out of packs than holographics. But you won't see them on this list because I'm basing my list on finding a specific card from the set. And holographics, if you're looking for a specific card, let's say you're looking for Vikemon, it'd be a lot harder than to just find a gold text from Series 4. Let me explain. Let's do some math. So, there we go. I got some paper. I'll do old school here. Where's the digital stuff? I'm just a guy with a phone, guys. Just a guy at home just trying to inform people, so on my phone. So let's do some math. So gold texts were 1 out of every 7 packs. There, you probably see that a little better. 1 out of every 7 packs. And there's 6 types in Series 4. So let's do some math. 6 times 7. And of course, that brings us to 42. So if you were looking for a specific card, you would have a 1 out of 42 chance to find the one you were looking for. All right, let's check the hollows. So they're only 1 out of 3, so there's way more hollows out there than there are gold text cards. But I believe there's 42 different holographic cards in Series 4. So let's do that. Let's times it by 3. And for all you smart people out there, you check my math, okay? So that's 1 out of every 126 packs if you're looking for a specific card. So once again, the gold texts are rare, but to find the specific hollow you're looking for is much harder. And so that's why the hollows are at the number 9 spot here, Series 4. Now next, I put at the number 8 spot Series 5 hollows, and I know some people disagree with me here because in recent times, Series 4 seems a little bit harder to find. But over the long run, like 10 years ago, it was so much harder for me to track down these Series 5 hollows than the Series 4 ones. And so I think we're just going through a little bit of a phase, and I think it's starting to equal out a little bit again. But I would say Series 5 is a little bit harder to come across in Series 4 for print values. Now, if you're looking for packs, there still seems to be a little more Series 5 out there than Series 4, although both are extremely rare. So that's why I put at the number 8 spot. I'm not going to show you all the Series 5 and Series 4 holo cards because that would just take forever. And I ramble anyway. So I'm trying to get you guys out of here a little bit faster. So the number 7 spot, excuse me again, getting over a cold. We have the Goldramon promo. So this was only given away at Universal Studios. See if my phone will focus. Nope, let me down. All right, I'll just put it far back again. So Goldramon only came from Universal Studios. They had something called a Digimon weekend. And so basically kids could come on that weekend, and I actually think it was just one day, even though they called it a weekend. And every kid that come would get a card. And that was the only official way to get one of these cards. And so over the long haul, these have been pretty difficult to find. So I'm going to put them at the number 7 spot. You can find them online, but now they're pretty expensive. Some people are trying to sell them for like $500. I guess at the time of this video being made, I guess I'd put it more around like the 200, 300 value. But and once again, a reminder, this is not the most valuable cards necessarily. These are the hardest to find. There was a time like on eBay where there was like 2 or 3 years where there weren't any. But like I said, if you wait long enough, they'll show up. They will. We're still not at the point where it's like you see it, you grab it, but they are pretty hard to find. So let's take a look at number 6 position. I have Series 6 Gold Text. Now, I told you that specific holo cards were harder to find than specific gold text cards. But it's funny because years ago, maybe even 5 years ago, people didn't care so much about the holographic cards. They thought the gold text ones were the chase cards, and now all of a sudden, people have flip-flopped and like the holos more. So it's interesting to see that. But once again, if you're looking for a specific card, the gold text ones are pretty hard to find still because Series 6 is so limited. And these cards are pretty expensive too. So let's put at the number 6 position here. Now things get interesting. Now it's really hard to rank some of these because within a given set, some cards seem to be harder to find than others. So this is a good example. So these are Digivice promo cards. They would come with one Digivice, one card per Digivice, and sometimes it would be, they had 3 different kinds in Europe, they had a bunch of different kinds in Asia, and the easiest one to find seems to be Gallantmon. And this one and the other Gallantmon, there's another Gallantmon, also Crimson Mode, seem to be the easiest ones to find. Now, I don't know if those are just the ones that are most popular, so people list them more or what, but they seem to be easier. Then you have a bunch of them in the middle. For example, you have this Guilmon. Seems to be a little bit harder to find than the Gallantmons. And if you see, there's a little bit of difference here. The one on the right is the European one, and the one on the left is the Asia one. How do you tell? The European one is a little bit bigger, so the one on the right is a little bit bigger. Otherwise, they look exactly the same. So those are kind of hard to find. And the one that's hardest to find, I'd probably put this one up a little higher on the list, where I'd put Gallantmon a little lower, but since I'm doing it all together, is this card. And it doesn't have a title, but people have called it Digi-Trinity over the years, just because you have the 3 Digimon from Tamers on it. It doesn't even have attack values. It just kind of shows you what Digimon to use in place. But it's a really cool card, and it only comes with Digivice. It seems to be harder to find than the other Digivice promos. So that's the number 5 spot. I'm going to move these out of the way. Now we're getting to the ones where, if you see them, maybe you should jump on them if you want them. And part of the reason I made this video is because, yeah, that's right, time to get preachy here. Part of the reason I made this video is because on eBay, there's just a whole lot of people listing things really expensive, putting prices way up, even though maybe they shouldn't be. So I'm trying to show you which ones, because if you're like me, you don't maybe have a lot of money to spend, and your parents maybe didn't buy you, spend all their money on cards when you were growing up. Shame on them. How dare they? So you might have to pick and choose what you want to get. And so that's why I'm telling you which ones are rare, so you know which ones to jump on if you really want it. So the number 4 position is the Digimon, I got Series 6 Holos. And remember, we're going by specific card. There's less gold text cards out there, but there's even less of each specific holo, even though there's more holos in general. So if you're looking for a specific card, I put it at number 4. Series 6 seems so limited. Everyone is after these holos right now. I looked on eBay before I did this video. I think I saw one holo. I think I saw a black Rabidmon, and that was about it. And so a lot of people switching over from Pokemon collecting to Digimon, or just adding Digimon to their repertoire. They're going after these. They're very limited, very hard to find. Like I said, I think I know 2 people who have a complete set of these right now, of the holographics from Series 6. And that's it. You know, maybe there's more out there, but that just kind of gives you the idea. They're hard to find. All right, so we're at number 3, and here's where things get interesting. You're like, hold on. If you've collected Digimon before, you're like, I got those when I was a kid. Well, not quite. See, these were cards from Booster Series 1, except these 2 aren't. They're a little special. These are actually the ultra rares from European cereal boxes. They did this special promotion where you'd get, like, I think it was 3 cards in clear packaging, and they put it in like Cheerios or Shreddies, and you could get a chance at one of these. But there's 2 ultra rares, and they were the Piedmon and Metal Seedramon. So how do you tell them apart from Booster Series 1? Well, there's 2 ways. One, look at the bottom. It says not for resale. So that's how you tell. And at the top, here, let's see if I can move it in. Come on, phone. Oh, there we go. CP37. If it's a booster card, it's going to have BO for booster. Yeah, not for something else. No, BO for booster. So these cards are very hard to find. And it's hard to rank these because really a couple copies either way could put them up or down the list. Digimon is not well documented. This is just from my experience. I'm just trying to give you a trustworthy general idea of what's rarest here. And the Piedmon actually took me, it was the card that took me the longest to find. It took me like 7 years before I could find one. I think there's one online right now, but like I just could not find them. If you hear some noise in the background, there's a train going by. Like I said, I'm just a guy on a phone trying to help people out. So here we go. Number 2. Again, a weird card people don't know about. And again, you're like, wait, we've seen that. That's from the Digimon World PlayStation game, right? You may have gotten it as a kid. Or you may be playing it right now. I don't know. So here's the one that most people know of, right? You got the serial number on the bottom to 100,000. But there's a different one. And it's not a misprint. It's actually a different card. Look here. No serial number. And if you look up here, there's a space in front of the Greymon in the Digivolution box. So this one's different. And this is actually, as best as I can tell, it only came from the UK, and it seemed to be like in comic shops as some sort of promotional card. I've seen less than 10 copies in my life. And like I said, I've collected Digimon a long time. So that's pretty impressive. And like I said, more of these could show up, more and make them less rare. I don't know if people just don't have them or they didn't know about them, so they're sitting in someone's attic somewhere. But for now, I'm going to put this one at the number 2 spot. It's very, very hard to find. And so that brings us to number 1, the moment you've all been waiting for. If you're at home, could you give me a drum roll, please? It makes me feel a little better. Okay, if you did it, thank you. If not, I do understand. Here it is. The Fox Kid cards. So they made 7 of, actually they made 10. The first 7 are really easy. I take that back. That came out wrong. The first 7 are really hard to find. The next 3, a little bit harder. So once again, you're like, well, I've seen these online, right? Well, there's a difference. There is a difference. How do you tell them apart? Well, the rare ones have FX in the corner. The other ones, a little bit different. So remember at the number 10 spot, we talked about Swedish cards? Well, in those Happy Meal cards, they made a tie. They made those Digi-Destined cards, and they have CP, right? So that's, once again, you're like, well, is that serial promo? No, because Bandai likes to make things hard, so that one's just the Swedish promo. But they did make a serial promo as well. Well, they're not easy to find. They're way harder to find than the FX cards. So for this one, how do you tell? Well, you have the CP in the corner. Come on, phone. Help me. Nope, not happening. Gotta take my word for it. And then not for resale at the bottom. So that's the serial promo. But the ones that are so rare are the ones with the FX. They're the Fox Kids one, the first 7. You have the first 7 Digi-Destined. And man, just so hard to find. So hard to find. We don't even know where they came from. Lots of theories. No one's been able to show me proof or firsthand knowing for sure. And but let me give you an idea of how rare these are. When Digimon first came out and was popular, but trading card values weren't extremely high for Pokemon or Digimon. The second highest like Digimon cards were valued at like, for gaming cards, were valued at like $15-20, right? The gold text ones, hollows, things like that. These were already at like $150 to $200. Right? And these are back in the times where like Charizard first editions were around that price that you could nab them up for. And so that just shows you that early on, with people who were diehard collectors, they understood that these cards were really hard to come by for some reason. And so that's why, and I right now, unless I see evidence different, and there could be stuff out there, there really could, to switch it. But to me, these cards are the absolute hardest Digi-Battle cards to find right now. So that's it for my video. Once again, if you got questions, go ahead and reach out. I got contact stuff on my website. Once again, it's prodigiouscollecting.com. I don't make anything off of it. I just do it so you can look and find what cards you're actually looking for. You know what they look like, so then you can hunt it down and have the cards you want. I want you to collect what you love. And then too, is like I said, on Instagram, I check that a little more often. So I'm Prodigious Omnimon. Go ahead, ask me a question, check in. I'm happy to help, give advice on trades, deals, and do the best I can to just kind of help inform people about Digimon cards. As always, it's my trademark. I can't seem to make a video that's under like 15 minutes. I have to drone on and on and on. So I'm going to cut myself off now. I hope you all have a great rest of your day. I'll see you later with more videos when I have time.